today's menu, we're serving up a delightful treat for all the seafood lovers. Are you ready? Garlic butter flavored seafood boil. Now, let's take a moment to tantalize your taste buds. Okay, our ingredients are lobster tails, snow crab legs, some nice and juicy sweet corn, and some medium-sized potatoes. Now you can definitely use small or baby potatoes, but in this recipe we're using these medium-sized potatoes and we're going to cut them in wedges. We're also using colossal shrimp, and also to give our burst of flavors we're going to use a fresh onion and about 6 to 8 garlic cloves and some fresh ginger. Now guys, to create that awesome flavor profile, we're going in with some spices and some herbs. Now these include the Maggi all-purpose seasoning, paprika, onion powder, parsley flakes, garlic powder. For the spices, we're going with cayenne pepper, lemon pepper, and of course the must-have that you can't do this without is some Old Bay seasoning. Now guys, when these spices collaborate with this garlic and herb butter, trust me, you're going to lick your 10 fingers. Now to kick-start things, we're going to thaw these crab legs, the lobster, and the shrimp because they were a little icy. So we're just bringing them down to about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and prep our green seasonings and our spices. Right now we're going to start off by sharpening our cutting tools, so when we're ready to bust open that lobster tail and also to cut that onion and the garlic, then we'll be nice and ready and flowing. Now we're starting off with the onion and we're going to give it some nice medium dices by slicing it vertical, horizontal, and then vertical again. All right, and there we go. And make sure when you're doing your first vertical cut, guys, you don't cut all the way to the end, because what you want to do is to still keep the onion together, right? And there we go with our vertical cuts. All right, and those are done lengthwise. Good. And then we're going to give the other side of the onion the same treatment. All right, and there we go, slicing away. All right guys, so we nice and ready with those small to medium size, right? And we're just gonna clean our board and move on to the next thing, which is our garlic. Now we're pressing our garlic, and the reason for this is it helps to mince more effective, and also when we press the garlic it helps to release those oils, those natural garlic oils, right? So we can get all the flavor out. All right, and there we go, mincing away. And you know, when we're mincing, we just cut into irregular sizes, right? And we have what, 2 more to go. And there we are, just creating. It's the same principle when we're cutting the onion. Then we're going to finish this process by giving some rough chop, right? All right, and there we go with our 2 last pieces and giving this some rough chop. So when we mince, it's like irregular sizes, right? So we try to get it as fine as possible. And there we go, into the bowl. All right, and up next is the ginger, right? So we cut in slabs and then we create some julienne slices, and then we go across to create some small to medium dices, followed by some irregular chop to get it down to minces, right? Now after we have finished this process, we're just going to put it to the side, and then we're going to work on our dry spices. Good. We're going to work on combining them together, and in the plate we go. and jump straight to our spices. So we're starting with Old Bay. I did use 2 tablespoons here, but I later added another tablespoon. So I would say 2.5 to 3 tablespoons, because we're not using broth for the liquid. We're going to use water, and you want it to be nice and flavorful. To that, we added all-purpose seasoning, parsley flakes, garlic powder, onion powder, and of course, you can't leave out the Old Bay and the paprika. They are a must. Now, these are what we're going to use to create our sauce, and also what will create our broth, right? And we're just gonna jump in to show you the process of how this is done. Good. Now, first we're starting by melting 1 stick of butter here, which is about 8 tablespoons, right? And we're just gonna work it all around the pot just for it to melt evenly and for it not to burn, right? So we try to do this on low to medium high flame, right? Not too high, because we don't want our butter to be burnt. All right, and as you see, there are already some parsley flakes in that herb butter, compound butter, and we're going to go in now with our onions. Now we're adding about 3/4 amount of the onions that we chopped, because we're going to reserve some for when we're making our sauce. Same thing for the garlic. All right, and then we're going in with the ginger. So as you melt your butter, you're going to add your onions, your garlic, and your ginger. Give this a nice stir fry until translucent. And as you can see, we went in with the dry spice combination there. We're going to give this a good stir fry to develop all that flavor. And then we're going to go in with some liquid. All right, we added about 4.5 to 5 cups of water. A key note is not to use too much water when you're making your stock, right? Because you don't want it to be flavorless. And depending on the amount of seafood that you're using, that also determines the amount of liquid that you'd use as well, right? All right, so while that is heating up, bring it to a boil. We're going to go ahead and cut our potatoes into wedges, right? You can use baby potatoes or small potatoes, right? But in this case, we're using medium size, and we cut them into wedges. And now it's time to burst open those lobster tails, right? And we're going to clean them, rinse them, and get them nice and ready for our boil. Good. All right, and there we're just deveining these. And if you look closely, remember to always take out the veins in the back, right? And that's what we're doing here. I'm using a paring knife, but you can also use a toothpick. It's also effective in moving these veins. All right, and there we go. We have about 2 more pieces, and 2, and then 1. All right, nice and ready. We're going to give these a good rinse, and then we're going to rinse them in with some lemon. All right, and each is getting their own little treatment. All right, and there we're going with the lemon to clean these effectively. All right, and there we go. And then we're just going to set these aside, give them a final rinse, and allow them to drain. All right, and there we go with a colossal shrimp. They were devined already. These are the easy peel. I don't know. I think the shrimps that are easy peel, it hits different when we're making the seafood boil, right? It's just a whole different experience for you to peel the shell off while you're eating with your sauce. You know what I'm saying? All right, and there we go. Time for our snow crab legs. Now, to clean the crab legs effectively, a nice new toothbrush is always effective. Now we brush these legs to remove any debris, barnacles, or any, unwanted substances, so that our crab legs can be nice and juicy. Interestingly, when we brush our crab legs before cooking, it helps to crack the shell a little better when it's time to consume. Okay? All right, and there we go with our last piece. And then we're going to rinse these again. Oh, there's one more. 2 more pieces. All right, and there we go. We're going to give these another rinse. All right, and there we are. Rinsing with some lemon, because we're ensuring that these are nice and clean, guys. All right, and there we go. Now that they are nice and clean, it's time to drain these and move on to our next task. Now that our water has come to a boil, we're going to go in with our corn pieces. We're going to allow this liquid to recover. So we're going to cover, allow, bring it to a boil, right? And then we're going to go in with our potato wedges. Now it is very important for us to monitor the flame because we don't want our potatoes to be overcooked. All right, and then we're going to cover this, allow it to recover again, bring it back up to temperature, and there we are, checking to see that it is boiling. And we're just going to reduce the flame a bit because it is boiling, right? And next time we check on these, will be time for them to get out because we don't want to overcook. And there we go, taking out our potato wedges. All right, there we go. Alright, now I have a few more. Searching and searching. Alright guys, and there we are, taking out our potato wedges from the liquid, and up next is to remove those corn pieces because they are ready. Now we're using a slotted spoon because we don't want any excess liquid to come out with these items. We want them to remain in the pot, right? And a slotted spoon is just those spoon, as you can see here, with the slots in it. Oh, there goes a few more potatoes, guys. All right, those were hiding from me, but nevertheless I got them out. All right, and there we are, going in with our snow crab legs, right? And here we're just ensuring that the liquid completely covers our crab legs so that it can cook effectively and soak up all that flavor. Good. All right, now let's check on what we have already. So we have our boiled potato wedges along with our corn. Good. All right, and there we go. Is your taste buds being tantalized yet? I hope it is. All right, and there we go with that view, and we're now going to take it away to check on those crab legs, right? We look at that, guys. Isn't it more watering? Just imagine when we make that sauce. Okay, all right, now time to remove them. They have been sufficiently seasoned and soaked up with that awesome liquid. And now let us look at what we have so far. So in our pan we have our potatoes, our corn, and a portion of our crab legs. Now we did do a second batch of crab legs. Well, let's check on them to see how they're doing, and they're looking just fine. Submerge in the water and are simmering to soak up that flavorful liquid. Now this liquid is so full of flavor you don't even need a sauce. Okay, but we're gonna do a sauce nevertheless, just to give an extraordinary taste to our garlic butter flavored seafood boil. We did go in with the lobster tail, guys, after removing the crab legs. And a tip here, reduce your flame. You don't need a boiling flame right now. You don't need that liquid to be at 212 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't. You need it less than that, so our lobster and the shrimp can take their time. So they cook so fast, so lower the flame so that this flavorful liquid can steep in and go in effectively. Now as you can see, you don't really see any bubbles here, and this is what we're looking for. I did add a little cayenne there just to spice things up a bit, right? and we just leave it at this temperature for it to soak up all that goodness in the sauce. You don't need to be boiling at this stage because they cook so fast. You don't want them to be rubbery without any taste. You need them to be flavorful, right? Thank me later for that tip. All right, and there we are. Now an indicator of doneness when cooking lobster and also shrimp, you know the color changes, right? And as you can see, our color has changed. Now these already, they're cooked actually, because these take about 1 to 3 minutes. They're about to cook. All right, so we're just gonna let them sit in that hot liquid to just soak up all that goodness before we remove them. And there we are. Now it's time to remove them from the flame because we don't want anything to be overcooked. So when we bite into these, they should be nice and juicy, not like chewing gum, guys. Never that. Not rubbery. No, no, no. All right, and there we are, removing the lobster tails because they went in first, and now followed by we're going to remove our shrimp. Nice, flavorful. The doneness on these are perfecto, you know what I'm saying? All right, and there we have 2 more pieces, and we're going to remove them, checking for any leftovers. We don't have any. We boiled these eggs earlier, and what we're going to do, just to leave them a bit to steep, right? Not for a long time because they're already cooked. So just to dissolve some of that flavor. Good. All right. And there we are. We're about to take these out because we don't want them to be overcooked. Now, one sign that you can tell when your egg is overcooked, if you see that yolk have a greenish bluish ring around it, then you know that's a reaction of the iron and the sulfur in the yolk, and that only happens when your egg has been overcooked, right? And we're jumping into our sauce with 1.5 sticks of garlic herb butter. Now to that, we're going to add the reserved onion, garlic, and ginger that we had earlier. We're going to allow this to melt nicely while we are stirring. Good. And there we go, allowing everything to come together nicely, allowing the onion, the garlic, and the ginger just to release their flavors, so all these flavors can come together, right? And we're giving it a good stir. We're going to go in. We went in with a little cayenne again, just a little tips all way, not a lot. And of course, we're going to finish off with some parsley flakes, right? And we still added a little onion powder, a little garlic powder, and we're giving that a good stir, right? Now that flavorful liquid that we boiled our seafood, our potatoes and corn in, we're going to pour it here. And I would advise that you pour it in stages so that we probably can have like a temporary mixture of the liquid and the butter together so that they don't separate too much, right? And of course, you allow you stir away, allow these items to marry together and just to combine, right? And there we are, stirring away. No, I wish you could smell the aroma coming from this sauce. Oh my gosh. And we're just going to allow this to continue to simmer to develop the flavor and the consistency that we desire. Alright, and we're stirring while it's simmering. Alright, then there we go, stirring and simmering away. Alright guys, and after all that simmering and stirring, this is what we ended up with. So nice and delicious, the perfect consistency with the perfect burst of flavors. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Now it's time to add this sauce to our seafood and our veggies. But before we do that, I can't just help to take another stir. Look at that, guys. So nice and delicious. And there we go, pouring our sauce over this awesome seafood boil. Look at that. Isn't it tantalizing your taste buds? Look at that closer view. So we have the shrimp, the lobster tail, the snow crab legs, the corn, hard-boiled eggs, and also some potato wedges, right? And at the end of the day, this is what we worked for, and this is what it is looking like, right? So while your mouth is being watered, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and also share this video with your friends and your families. And if you try it, please leave your results down in the comment section. Let me know how it went. All right, enjoy.